evening, guys. Happy AMORIM Day. As my mum actually said to me today, I don't know what my mum thinks she knows about a happy AMORIM Day. Obviously, she's been watching somebody's been full in her ear with stuff. But look, we're back. It's Tuesday. The club are moving very, 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 very quickly. Ten Hag got sacked yesterday, obviously, we know. Within 20 minutes, we were linked with AMORIM. And it sounds like it's here we go. Bath time.
Hello.
Thoughts, my friend?
Yeah, like I think the signing of AMORIM is one that appears to be quite exciting to a lot of people. I have a lot of doubts. I've just finished watching a Sporting Lisbon versus PSV in the Champions League, and there's going to have to be some major adjustments to that system to A, work in the Premier League, and B, work with our players. But at the same time, the man has he delivered a league title for the first time in almost 20 years. They've made, since he's been manager, they've made more money off player sales than all their other years combined. So what we can take from that is that he's probably good at developing players. Like, he's got good talent ID, he's got good coaching, he can bring the best out of them. And at the moment, I'm just a little bit worried about proclaiming new dawns, because Ten Hag was like the most exciting manager in Europe. It was seen as a real coup. He's probably got a better CV, to be honest, than AMORIM. So just at the moment, I want to keep my feet on the ground, obviously give him a chance and stuff. But as always, I look at the players and I really want that squad gutted.
Some open heart surgery, yeah?
No, not open heart surgery. To say that in public was absolutely ridiculous.
I knew that was going to get to you. Yeah,
I'm going to tomato you if you carry that on.
Have you guys still got that boo thing? That woman?
Yeah.
Boo? Oh, you still got it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll save it for you.
Why? Look, I need to have some control over this as well. You know? It's not fair. You got a button there. Yeah, man. Big up Mr. B, man. Big up Bath Time. Big up everyone in the chat. Hope everyone's doing well. It's a new dawn, new day. Obviously, people get excited about the change. The change is going to come. It's come. And AMORIM looks like he's coming in.
Sorry. AMORIM. It's Rid.
Oh.
You know what? You can't say anybody's name right. If you can't get AMORIM right, I'm gonna smack you in your head.
You know what? It's like AMORIM. AMORIM.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah. However
right,
you remember it, I don't care how you remember it.
Picture on the wall.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Jesus Christ. You still haven't got Masraoui right yet.
It will come. You guys are still calling me Mondi, by the way. So double standards alert. Okay.
Sorry,
yeah. Yeah, big up Mr. B, big up Bath Time, big up everyone in the chat, man. It's a new dawn, and we can see what's going on in the next few days. Really exciting time, because obviously we're playing Chelsea at the weekend. Maybe they're talking about him being in by then. I've got doubts, not doubts, but question marks. You know, It's not like we're getting a guy that's proven and know what exactly he's going to deliver. How do you transfer coming from Portugal, where you're going to beat 18 of the 20 teams? You know, you'll be favourites against, coming to Man United, where it's a different culture, as everyone does experience. We say it's one sport, it's football, yeah, it's still football, but there's different cultures in football. The Premiership is the elite. There's so much demands on players, and some managers, as proven time and time again, that's why it's such a high turnover of managers in the Premiership. The longest serving manager, I think, is Thomas Frank or Pep or someone like that. It's not that long as it used to be. So all I want is some sustainability, someone who's going to come in and be there for the long run. I think that's important. You shouldn't chop and change managers too long. Are we taking a back step by dropping Ten Hag, who had a transfer window recently, they brought in players. Hopefully they've discussed with Ten Hag for the way he wants to play football. What sort of discussions have been had? Is he come for the money? Has he come for the prestige? Is he ready at 39 years old to have a big job like this? Who really wants this job? That's a big question as well. Apparently, he turned down Liverpool and Barcelona were looking at him as well, apparently. But he's decided to come to Man United. It's a big job. But he's got an opportunity to become a legend if he can turn it around. Because we look at us as a fan base, we would love him to do a good job. And if he is successful in the next couple of years, he can become a legendary manager. Now, he must have seen what happened to Villas Boas, or whatever his name is. He's seen what's happened to Mourinho as well. Portuguese managers can do well over here, and they can also crash and burn. So I'm sure he's had discussions with Mourinho. He was actually around at Manchester at Man United when Mourinho was managing the club, wasn't he? So he has got some idea. And apparently, what I've heard, obviously, I don't know much about him. What I've heard about his personality is he's quite animated as well, and he's got something about him. Because my question mark would be, some of the players we look at him, like Eriksen might look at him saying, "You're not that much older than me," or Rashford. You know, I was at work today, just this thing about ageism. I was at work today, and I deal with there's like 100 people that I support, and I have to think about my relationship with them and how I speak to them. Don't give it all that the parent or whatever, but you get a bad reaction. So always thinking about how to speak to people, and that's from experience. I've got a guy who's younger than me, and he tried to say, "You must close the door, this fire door, or whatever," to someone, and he got told to shut up. And it's ageism. Do you see what I'm saying? Because the guys look at him saying, "You're not that much older than me. You can't talk to me like that." If I said that to him, he wouldn't. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's an ageism thing. So it's the same applies with the manager. So many question marks. I'm looking forward to see what the guys in the comments say about putting a picture on the wall and AMORIM as well. So yeah,
Are you going to put a picture up, Mr. B?
Good question.
I'll wait. I'm gonna wait. I'm not. Look, I'll wait. I'm not gonna do that to myself again. To be fair, I'm not gonna do that. I mean, what am I gonna do with that Ten Hag picture? Cost me money. I actually thought he was gonna be here for a little while. You know what I mean? So I'll wait for him. I'll wait for AMORIM. But look, we've been waffling on for a bit. We've got a few in the chat. So look, Solo, big up. I hope you're doing well. Stuart, looks like RUUD will go, and we'll talk about that as well. RUUD awakening for RUUD from I Am Titanium. Jeff is saying big up everyone. Andrew Williams. Who gives a monkeys? Yeah, about RUUD going. Fair enough. That's fine. Are you happy with AMORIM, Andrew? Or are you just more happy that Ten Hag's gone? Stuart, let's hope we get who's that?
Gyökeres.
Shit, is that how you say his name? Jesus,
Yep.
we can't get him. Good
one.
Big G, we see you, man. Who else is in here? Where's our Yank talking smack? How are you doing? Has he? Are you married yet? Did he get married, or did he just propose? Either way, I hope she's doing well, man. Not 100% sold on firing Ten Hag. Firing, what's that? Not 100% sold on firing Ten Hag. Will firing him fix our poor finishing? I love the hire and love even more how quickly we are able to get it done. Won't start judging until next year. Fair enough. There's a few of you in the chat, a few more than normal. So I hope we've got a few more likes than normal. But I hope you're doing well, man. I know you've waffled on something on there, but I'll leave that to you.
It means good afternoon in Portuguese.
Oh, is that what it means?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I knew that. I was waiting for you to tell me bath time. Thank you very much.
No problems.
The fucking guy with his smart ass self. Elite Baller.
Obrigado.
How you doing, man? I hope you're doing well. And that is all of the howdies for now. When they start
hold
talking.
on.
There's loads.
I want to say big up to Jermaine Sweet. How you doing? He said, do you think RUUD will stay? I want to say hi to Johnny Hill.
Shit.
AMORIM coming in means Bruno might actually hold the bench. I don't know about that. I thought it'd be the opposite way. He would be playing. Big up to Kieran. Sad to see the RUUD and destroy go. Sue 82. Nice RUUD. Be manager for the game. Best he moves on. He was part of the failing team. No sentiment for him. So that's from Sue 82. But she wishes him well. Big up Overhead Kick TV. We saw Overhead Kick TV, didn't we? Yesterday on with us, joined us. Welcome. He's saying, I am just watching the manager's last game. What a feeling. What a feeling. Over to you, Mr. B.
I don't know where you got all of these extra people from, but you know, thanks anyway.
No,
Makes me look very, very unprofessional. Obviously, we'll get onto the RUUD bit now. It doesn't sound like anybody cares that RUUD's going to be going. I wanted him to stay. I would have liked him to have had a couple of games in charge, maybe just a little bit sentimental, just to see what he was like, because I knew he was never going to stay. I mean, he seems like he's come in under Ten Hag and he wants to leave with Ten Hag. I thought he was a club appointment.
I mean, for me, the stuff that I'm most excited about for tomorrow is I really hope that RUUD is suited and booted, like not in a tracksuit, but in the suit. He stands there. He gets an ovation from the fans. We get the win. He walks around clapping. Like RUUD was a great player for us. We obviously didn't win a huge amount when he was there, but he's one of the best strikers that I've ever seen. He's given us a lot of fond memories. Like, I mean, a wonder goal against Fulham. He was a great player. But the thing is that I believe that one of the mistakes that we made around the Moisey era is we didn't completely sever Ferguson's connection to the club. Like, I think that is a big thing, that his shadow is always there because he was so omnipotent and powerful that, you know, guys in marketing, dinner ladies, all these things were sort of connected to him. And it was like a shadow that no one could get out of. And I think that with Ineos coming in on a new era, and now they've appointed their manager. Like, Eric wasn't theirs, but AMORIM has to be theirs. I think that they have to gut everything that was before that for a new start. So I just want RUUD to have his moment, like, you know, be in front of the Stretty end again, everyone cheering him and things. But I think it's the right idea to completely kind of cut out all of like Ten Hag's old stuff, all these hangovers.
Yeah, but you say hangovers. He's only been there. He's only been with us 2 months.
Yeah, and it's been some of the worst 2 months of football that we've ever seen from Manchester United.
And you would put that on RUUD.
Well, he's part of it, isn't he? You can't say he's completely removed from the performances because he's the assistant. Like, he's involved in the decision-making process. He's involved in the coaching. Like, the only person that has like more authority than him is Ten Hag. So I think that, like, by that kind of definition, that yes, like he shouldn't be seen or treated as like a cancer or anything like that. But it should be a thank you very much, RUUD. Maybe we'll see you again. Good luck in your career. You're always welcome at Old Trafford, and it should be a nice and dignified parting of the ways.
Interesting. That we actually don't know what the relationship is with RUUD around the club. It's always look, we can only speculate on shows like this about what goes on behind the scenes. I know they were talking about doing this Fly on the Wall documentary, Amazon thing, weren't they?
No way, please.
Imagine they would have done that. Imagine they would have done that over the last season, period leading up to the sacking. We would have such insight into Ten Hag, and you know, even seeing people roll their eyes or the reaction to stuff, you can always read a lot closer when you
nights out with Rashford. They would have been absolutely amazing. What Malacia gets up to.
Yeah, like, Anthony, I would love to see how Anthony reacts to things as well. You know, there's so many things going on around the club. But you know what? The club's buzzing right now. There's a lot of things, positive things that we want to focus on. And we talk about RUUD Van Nistelrooy. He's a legend of the club. I saw Stuart Marshall mention that earlier, that he's a legend. He is. And we saw this when we changed managers. Usually someone like Michael Carrick, I think, took over the Chelsea game for one game, done really well. But he went down to learn his trade in the Championship with Middlesbrough. And he's not sort of blowing up there, but he's still in a job. He's still doing his thing, learning his trade. And the same with Kieran McKenna. He went down to Ipswich, took over, managed them, took them from the first division, still got players from the first division, now playing in the Prem a couple of years later. That's good progression. He's getting his groundwork done, and that's good experience. I think all managers need to have that. I know that RUUD van Nistelrooy started at the top in Dutch football. He managed PSV, but he's well regarded. One, this is why I think he could be something in football. He's well regarded. He's the world-class player. I mean, a lot of this young people these days would know about him from FIFA, maybe. I don't know what rating he has, but they play his FIFA game, don't they? They have all these ratings. They know about him. If not, there's YouTube videos. It's not that long ago that he was playing football. And then on top of that, so you're going to get respect. People are going to be in awe of you. And then on top of that, you've worked in Dutch football. You've worked with PSV. You had good experience at Man United recently now, you know. So has he got the credentials? Clearly not, because they would have either said, let's stay, you can stay for longer. But it'd be interesting to see what happens with RUUD van Nistelrooy. And I want to hear what, maybe some more will be revealed when he starts talking, because already we've heard RUUD van Nistelrooy when whispers were there about him waiting to take the job of Ten Hag and being a traitor. He didn't like that tag. And he actually defended it and said, no, that's not what I'm about.
We saw some different things about that, Yabba. Like in the last couple of days, yesterday, in the morning after Eric went, there were stories that RUUD thought that there was a possibility if he did well, he could get the job. And then today, stories have come out that the players were deeply unimpressed with the idea of RUUD being the permanent manager. You remember, you're muted.
Yeah, sorry, the dogs are barking up the place. V, how you doing? Yabba's right to be concerned. Why? We are talking about AMORIM has been sacked.
I tell you,
That is unreal.
You are the humblest guy I know, I swear.
So shameless.
What about, I'm missing joke jokes going in my head. I've got too much going on.
It's good. It makes it even better that you don't even realize what you've done. It's not a problem. It is so not a problem. It's just a yabberism, isn't it? It's fine.
Yeah. All right, well, never mind. I don't care. Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see. I want to hear his interview and see what he has to say for himself. Obviously, I don't want him to be too PR, but he, you know, because what the journalists should ask RUUD van Nistelrooy in the press conference and everything, said, "Do you want the job?" You know, or something like that. You know, how do you feel about this? They should be asking those sort of questions. It's interesting to see what he says about that. But yeah, I agree with Stuart Marshall, proper legend and a proper world-class player. When he was playing football. Let's see what he can do in his management.
So would you keep him around?
It depends if he wants that. Look, he could be good for experience for him. You know, he's done the PSV thing. He managed them. Is it a step down coming to Man United being assistant manager? Would it be? Is he wanted by AMORIM? You know, these are questions I can't answer. But I would like him to hang around because for a few reasons. Because he's associated with the club. He's been around. He could sort of, you know, we do handovers. He could help with the handover procedure for AMORIM, because AMORIM's coming into English football, top flight football for the first time as a manager.
Yeah, but RUUD can't help him with that. He's only been here 2 months.
Yeah, I know, but he knows English football. He's played here, doesn't he, for a long time. Same as Steve McLaren. When Ten Hag came in, he had Steve McLaren come in. So you need someone to help with the transition and that handover. And I think that RUUD van Nistelrooy could be the ideal guy to do that.
Maybe I'd like AMORIM to make his own way in the same way that like Jose did, where Jose came in roughly at a similar age, similar league, obviously a better CV, having won the Champions League. But you know, he called himself the special one in in his first press conference, and that kind of set the tone for him. And we know that like Eric, his qualities weren't really sort of charisma. Or anything like that. That's just not who he was. So I'd quite like to see AMORIM like come in and force his personality on the squad and the team, and then like that would lead to enforcing it on the pitch. And I think that if it were me, I wouldn't want any of the old guard, you know, like hanging around telling me this is how it's done and all these things. I'd like to come in with my rules, my principles, and like let's get going.
Do you remember obviously Brian Clough when he left Derby to go to Leeds? Leeds were the champions and they were winning everything, and he turned up at the first training session. He told them, get rid of your medals. Apparently he said this, get rid of your medals. That was rubbish. That's not the way to play football. We need to do it different now. Now that was trying to have an impact. He obviously planned that and thought You know, that'd be a smart thing to do. Turned out he turned off all the players, and they didn't like that. But I think you have to. I'm always interested to see what happens. How do you approach it? Because the way you reinvent yourself and you come to a club, you know, the first day must be daunting. Do you remember Brendan Rodgers when he went to Liverpool and played some stupid team? He
did Fergie's trick with the envelopes.
Yeah, so it shows you how important it is to have that first impression. First impressions really count with the players. You want to get them on side. So I wonder what Amorim will come in and do. You know, will he be anxious about his age, about his reputation? Will he be trying too hard? Because the players are all going to be like that, and then they go home in their group chat and say, did you see he was flinching, or did you see he was nervous, or did you see he was anxious? He looks like a bit of a, you know.
Yeah, but he's got to have the personality for this, Yabba. Like,
but it's big. Yeah, but you need to have big personality. That's the whole point. That's what I'm saying to you.
Well, he's got to think about what he's doing. I mean, I would suspect that when he goes in, like, the first thing he's got to do is raise the morale of the squad. Like, he'll start off by saying, fresh slate, everyone can, you know, everyone's in contention.
The normal spiel, innit?
Yeah, but what I would like to imagine him doing is saying that, like, we're a group, we're a collective, we're going to lose together, we're going to win together, we're going to work together. Everyone is important in this room, and it's us against the world. I'm going to do my absolute best, and I want all of you on side. But the only way we can get anywhere is if we have these standards, if we expect the best of each other, and if we support each other. Like, we are a team, and we've got to go out from day one and show that to everyone, that we're Manchester United and that we are a beast that has been uncaged.
You should be a ghostwriter then, go and help him out with that.
Don't you think Ten Hag came in and said all of that shit?
No, absolutely not. I think he came in with a presentation and a fucking, like, pentacle or something, like a protractor, telling people what angle the passes were going to be and stuff like that. I don't think he ever connected with them on a human level. And I think that's what Amorim's got to do. Like, Fergie always talked about how, as more and more money came into the game, he didn't really sort of, like, know how to connect with players on a personal level. So what he did was he spoke about what their grandfather's jobs were, and they were, like, all labourers and miners and things like that. And that's how he kind of got the principles and the connection between the team. But the key thing is there was that human element there of Fergie was a brilliant man manager, and this is what I think that the squad needs, is that they can't all be treated as like robots. I think the way that Ten Hag did. I think that there has to be a human connection, and being younger, maybe this is an advantage. Like, Amorim was playing against Eriksen in 2016. Like, you know, like Delo probably knows him from, like, the Portugal squads and things. Like, it's age is a thing, but it might be an advantage because it might allow him to connect better with them.
Interesting that. You know, when you think about, you spoke about Fergie and what he had to do. You talked about their grandfathers and, you know, that sort of thing. It's completely changed now, and I'm just thinking, it had me thinking, what are the players like now? What are they into? And he'll be asking questions. What's the problem? What's really going on there? How's Bruno getting on? Who leads the dressing room? Who's the best trainer? Who can I get to? Who do I need to get on side? You know, these are questions that he's going to have to be asking, and, you know, of someone behind the scenes when he comes in to do that first training session, because that is the be all and end all for me. We've got a good squad. We can end up in third a couple of years ago. We could be in the top four. We were in the Champions League last year, weren't we, based on our league position? Briefly. So we're not a bad squad. We're not a bad group of players. But the trick is to get them to play for you. And this is where Ten Hag failed. And this is where Amorim maybe has a bit of a different personality than Ten Hag. I mean, when you compare the two, we will soon find out, Mr. B, when we see the interview. He's quite animated. He's got something about him. And his English is very good as well. So I'm really interested to see what he thinks about the culture of English football for young players. How can you make them laugh, drop a joke, you know, have some sort of connection with them where they're thinking, all right, this guy's quite cool. Because that's what you want to do.
But surely You're talking about these players liking the manager to play for the manager. They actually play for Manchester United. They don't play for my Saturday fucking team. Bruv, they need to have some self-pride, man. We're talking about this manager being able to motivate them. These are players on hundreds of thousands of pounds a week. Bruv, they've done all their professional training. They've been playing football since they were, 5 and 6. They've been at Man United since they were 8. They weren't allowed to play. In my day, when I had players who played for Chelsea, they weren't allowed to play. They weren't allowed to piss around and play football in the street because they weren't allowed to get injured. You take all of that away, and then you don't have the self-pride to say, all right, I understand they didn't want to play for Ten Hag, but surely that wasn't at the beginning. You know what I mean? I just think it's bloody ridiculous talking. I want him to go out there. If he shit, get him out. If he thinks Bruno shit, let the club give him the authority to get him out. You know what I mean? If he thinks Maguire deserves a new contract, give Maguire the new contract. All right. I wouldn't like it, but do what he wants to be done. Don't let it be these players controlling. That's all we keep hearing. It's like these players are controlling shit. Come in there, put your foot down. At the end of the day, he's going to be there for 3 years. If they don't like what he's doing, we don't want to be running. What if he says training starts at 7 o'clock? Then what the fuck are they going to be doing?
You ask good questions. Here's a question from the panel. Big up to everyone. And if you got any questions, let's fire away. Here's one from We Deserve Better. He said, does a 39-year-old who's never managed in our league, will he be ruthless enough to manage the players, savvy enough to manage the media relations, very important, strong enough to find answers to adversity on the pitch? These are questions that We Deserve Better wants to know. And got any answers for that?
Right, I don't know, but I'm going to do a yabba. I agree with Mr. B. Wanting to rip apart and mix it out all his own way.
I see the joke now.
Let's answer We Deserve Better's question rather than just propping us up. Well, what he said is right. Is he's basing this on age, isn't it? Like, if you change that to a 69-year-old, does it make any difference to the question? For me, not really. I think that he's at a club that has a lot of pressure on. He's very, very close to the game in terms of he only retired 8 or 9 years ago. I think 2015 he retired, so that's about 9 years. But we can't really answer these at the moment. But the age thing is about experience. So what we have to do is put experienced people around him. And that will be his backroom staff and the people that's there. So I don't necessarily see his age as a massive problem unless he doesn't listen to people the same way that I suspected that Eric did.
And Moyes.
All right.
Yeah, but Moyes knew the league.
So a few comments. Let's just fly through, guys. Keep them coming. Simon's saying here, can we actually sign some British players? We can't even talk. The winner's not even open yet.
We signed Mount and he was a bag of piss.
Sue82 saying here, did like RUUD coming back, shame, didn't work out, get his game. V saying here, Ineos need to get a few players to pack their bags next. Sick of tired of players with certain surviving while managers getting sacked. Bye-bye Rashi, bye-bye Lindelof as well. It's been there a long time, these guys, haven't they? Maybe it is a time for a change. Here's one from Andrew. Yeah, it's all speculation, but I resent the assumption that RUUD is automatically better than Benny McCarthy. Where's the evidence for that? I don't know who said that, but we've got Mark Gemini saying here, RUUD Van Nistelrooy hasn't done anything wrong and has only been at the club a matter of months, like Mr. B said. RUUD should remain for at least the rest of the season. Ollie was a legend. Look what happened there. We still saw. Apparently, Ollie was considered. I read that somewhere.
No, he could never have been considered.
Yeah, surely not. But that's what I read somewhere. Big up to Vincent. I don't know how you feel about this, Vincent. But Vincent goes to all the home games and is a long time Man United fan going to games, just like Stuart Marshall. How do you guys feel? Big up to Cormac Maguire as well, and James in the house. He's given us an update on Sporting. We've assigned bath time, haven't we, Mr. B? With watching Sporting Lisbon to get an assessment and do a project and give a presentation on this Thursday. Is that right, Bath Time?
Yeah, this Thursday. It's not going well, lads. I'll tell you that so far.
Okay. How do you pronounce this guy? Michael?
Morgan.
I don't know. Glory, good, thumbs up, and a lot of.
He's over the moon.
Okay.
Are you more happy that Amorim is in, or that Ten Hag has gone?
I think he's happy that he's in. Big up Chat Sport as well. Man United have seen the best of managers as well. And last one here, keep them coming, guys. Stuart Marshall saying here, like I said, doesn't really matter who the manager is. The players throw them all under the bus. Let's hope RUUD, I think it's Rubin, sorry, it takes no SHIT. I am Titanium. I've seen you. I'm going to read this out. Just been sacked from my new job as a barber. A customer's asked me to do a number 2 all over. Apparently that's something to do with the length of hair, length of cut. Very confusing. I don't know who asked you that, but I'm going to take that off right now.
that was one of yours. That's something that you would have said, bro.
There was no punchline though.
There was.
What's the punchline?
Do you understand the rapper? Do you know what a number 2 is in relation to the
grade of cut?
Right.
No, think about
okay.
Oh, see, exactly as corny as one of yours. See, now you know how we feel every day.
Okay.
How do you know they're corny? Sorry.
Jesus Christ.
That was very good.
Anyway, bath time, man. Yeah, obviously we do have bath time doing these. We'll call it a presentation, but yeah, I'm interested to see that.
Yeah,
I'm ignorant. I'll be honest. I only watch English football, Premier League football. Every now and then I might watch a Real Madrid or a Barca. So I have no idea what Amorim does.
What are you expecting from him?
I don't know. If I'm really honest, I don't think I've really thought about it. I was so happy that Ten Hag has gone and that we're moving so quickly. I'll be honest, I haven't really thought about it. I mean, what are we, 14th in the league? I mean, we're not qualifying for Champions League, and yes, he wins Europa. So,
all right, what would you say would be a success this season if, let's say, he comes in after the Chelsea game, so he doesn't have that game. What would be a success, average, failure come to the end of the season for you?
Well, failure will be if we're not in top 10 from where we are now, because I just think we're in the shit, and the players. I don't believe he's just going to have a magic wand and these players are suddenly going to be able to play fantastic football. So I think it's going to take a bit of time. So 10 is failure. If we get any European, for not European, I don't want Conference Peer Cup. If we can get Europa, then I'd say, that'd be good. Anything over that, I would be amazed with the players that we've got. Because as soon as he gets them training, they're going to be breaking down again. I mean, Luke Shaw got injured.
He's injured again.
Yeah. So I think he's injured again. And it's a different injury. I don't get it. So unless these players can stay fit, or they can work out how to get these players staying fit, it's going to be an even bigger issue. I mean, everybody said he plays 3 at the back. That's absolutely fantastic. Do we have 3 centre-backs who can play?
Do you know what? I've got a feeling that Casemiro might end up being one of those centre-backs from what I've seen so far. Like that 3 at the back centre-backs, I've seen one of them wandering into midfield a lot, and I don't know which of our centre-backs. I mean, I haven't seen enough of De Ligt, but I don't know which ones are able to receive the ball in tight spaces with pressure on them and things. But I do know that Casemiro does a fairly decent job as a centre-back. Not outstanding, but solid in the air, stays in shape. I'm interested to see what happens. But for me, Mr. B, and for you as well, I'm looking at more aesthetic things from Ruben Amorim. Number 1 is goals. I'm sick to death of the lack of goals that this team scores. Number 2 is a connection with match-going fans and us as well. I want some excitement that when United are on. You know, I want to wake up in the morning and think, oh my God, it's like 8 hours till we play. Why can't it just be now? As opposed to this shadow over me thinking, you know, I want to go into games like Liverpool and City thinking that, do you know what? I think that we're good enough to do them today. Little bit of luck or something. I haven't felt like that for a while. And I want hope back at United. So if he finishes like 9th, 10th, 11th, something like that, whatever, I just want a bundle of goals.
Okay. Well, you asked the question. I'm going to give a few answers from the comments. What would be an ideal for him? And it's staying up, says James. Chat Sport says here, I'll take a cup, 10 Hags, 2 cups, 2 seasons. So that's the standard. Failure, relegation battle. Good, 8 to 10. Great would be 4 to 6. This is league positions. Big up, Jeff. How you doing, Jeff? Nice to see you, bro. And Andrew Williams is saying here, I want 1.5 goals a game from now to the end of the season and a minimum 1.5 points a game. Mr. Data, Andrew Williams. The wing backs definitely won't work at United, says Big G. Because obviously
why wouldn't that? Sorry, why wouldn't that work? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
With what we've got, what
Big
have we
G,
got?
answer that.
What have we got? We got Mazraoui, who could probably do that side. Yeah. And obviously Dalot would lock down the other side. To be fair, I think we probably could.
We can't have both of them all season. Like who's in competition for them in the wing back position?
Anthony.
Anthony's gone in January, isn't it?
Well, listen. He may look. If I would expect him to be gone, but if Amorim comes in and by some miraculous, judger type miracle, he can suddenly become, a player that he feels could start on the left, because we haven't got any left footers there anyway. You know what I mean?
Well, it might be one of the right wing backs that I've seen that Sporting played was a left footer on the right hand side.
Okay. Well, Big G saying none of this inverted nonsense either. Well, we got that already, it seems. Jermaine saying here we're 7 points down from a Champions League spot. We have a chance. There you go. So I think, are we underestimating what the bounce back ability is like for a new manager coming in? We sort of already as well, didn't we?
Yeah, maybe.
Bounce, but we don't. The thing is, do we want a bounce? I understand. I want to see sustained. If we have a bounce and then it goes on for the rest of the fine. Don't have a bounce for 5 games and then they go back to playing the same turgid shit and playing how they've been playing. If it's a bounce, I want to see it being a bounce. You know what I mean? 7, 8, 9, 10 games where we can see something happening. Don't let it be 3 games. Don't let him come in.
Yeah, but what he's saying, Mr. B, is that with that bounce, we can get ourselves back into Champions League contention and go from there. So we're only 7 or 8 points away. It's like a quarter way through the season. The European football is very, very punishing this year. Like, you don't know about injuries and things that, like, when people like Jeff are saying like 4 to 6 is like the max or would be a great season. Maybe with a new superstar manager, a reversal of getting rid of this favoritism, new formation, getting different players out of the pitch, resetting the club culture. Maybe we could delude ourselves into thinking at Christmas that we can actually push for 4th or maybe 3rd.
Maybe
knows?
That's what I'm scared of. Maybe that's what it is. I don't want to go all in. You end up bloody doing your nutting. I want him to impress. As I said, because I don't know enough about his style of football and the way he plays. I know Matty's been screaming for Amorim for ages. So obviously he's got something. It's all I want to do is win the Europa League and FA Cup finish third. I'm not asking too much. It might be this season. It might be this season, to be fair.
Yeah, big up Harry David. That's a good. It's not unrealistic what he's saying there, though.
I mean, the thing is,
no, unrealistic. I don't think it's unrealistic at all. Let me put it like this: we have a bounce back when the manager comes in. You got to look. I'm looking. Yeah, if the manager comes in, so I'm looking at it and I was thinking, when players perform, when they really try hard, is when they feel under pressure that they could be out. They've got something to prove. So I think there's a few players there, especially, that might get their form up because they feel they've got something to prove, or they could be getting kicked out. The whispers go around, don't they? And I'm looking at players, obviously, like Lindelof. He's played in Portugal before. I think he's under a lot of pressure. He might be thinking, I don't want it anymore. If it's a clean slate, then you'll be looking at players like Lindelof, Casemiro. Maybe they'd be thinking, do I really want you around that long? I think you would for experience. I think Anthony, is he getting a fresh new chance now under this new manager? Can the manager get a tune out of him? You know, there's so many question marks where players.
I think Martinez
could surprise Martinez as well.
Because Anthony has become a symbol of Ten Hag, and I think he has to go in the same way that Maguire kind of became Maguire and McFred became symbols.
Think about that one before you say that, Bath time. Think about it. Can Anthony get something under this new manager?
Well, I mean,
Sancho is a good player. He's a good player. He can play Premiership football, no doubt. And he's done it in Germany. Now, just under different manager, he wasn't able to perform. There was something going wrong. You've seen the
Have you seen him at Chelsea? Don't be a Sancho.
He's
Don't
only
be a Sancho
in Germany.
Yeah, done.
But he's still a good player. I'm saying he's good. I'm not saying he's outstanding. He's a good player. So something wasn't right for him at Man United where he wasn't able to perform. And let's judge him at the end of this season in the Premiership and see what he does. But Anthony as well, clearly there's a guy who wants to achieve something and do well. Do you think he's saying to himself, I've got a clean slate here. I can show this manager. I can show the club. I can do something. You're writing him off. I
am writing him off.
Yeah, I'm with Bath time. I'm 100% with Bath time on this.
You're writing him off. What? You're based on this guy's coming in fresh.
Performances, attitude, like the fact that he's been put on the market by United, the fact that stories have come out today saying that they're willing to take the hit on him. He's a player that hasn't worked out. We had all right, with Sancho, I'm not sure that he's a good Premiership player, but we've seen that he has moments of quality, that there's things that he can do and so on. I really haven't seen anything from Anthony that would suggest he's even like a mediocre Premier League player. I think that everyone here can name 10, 15 like wingers that are better than him. I mean, like, really, you should be looking at maybe is Ahmad going to get his chance? Probably not in the system.
Well, I mean, you say that. I mean, look, we'll go into that on Thursday. Go into that on Thursday.
Yeah, but I think that your point, like in general, is a good one, because when you look at some of the players that we brought in, Mazraoui, De Ligt, Martinez, Onana, players like this, I wonder if the manager is going to look at a couple and say, I don't fancy you. Like Martinez would be the one that stands out to me. As
why is that, Bath time?
Height, running ability, inability to defend wide areas, a very low line defender. He's been poor for a very long time.
Yeah, but his head.
I disagree totally. With that, because I think you're coming from Sporting Lisbon. You got a guy like Martinez, a cultured player on the ball, with a three-man defence he's been playing. He'd be looking at him saying, well, I can get something out of this guy, especially if we've got possession, and he can give us something going forward. You talked earlier about you've witnessed one of their three centre-backs going into midfield, picking things up. I mean, that sounds like Martinez through and through. But, yeah, you're talking about the height and,
Yeah, well, I'm just giving you an example of how a new manager might come in and look at players and think, do you know what? I'm not sure about this guy. Like, one of the big things that he's got to kind of establish is who is like the left forward and who is the right forward between Rashford and Garnacho. Like, that situation has got to be addressed. Who plays left wing, as it were? But my point is that all those players have got to be on their toes, because this guy hasn't signed a single one of them, and I don't think he's worked with them, and they've got to win him over.
Ugarte, he's worked with Ugarte.
Okay, yeah. So he's worked. Yeah. Okay. So, but maybe like he also sold Ugarte. Maybe like you don't know. But the thing is that these players have got to all have a little bit of that fear in them, I feel.
Sorry, I've just laughed at his comment. He said, before Anthony is sold, I insist he does one circle trick, just one more time. But a lot of people have given up on Anthony, haven't they? Big up to Darren. He says, I was like that, Yabs. Just skip my message and move on to the next one. And after I was bigging up your team, Broski, I might hate now. All right, big up to Darren Tubbs. You want some attention? There you are. Hope you're doing well, bro. No, good shout out. Hope you're doing good. Sancho is poor, says Stuart Marshall. Saying here, Lynch is a midget, too small for centre back. He's crap. It's funny. It's a bit like the Wan-Bissaka thing. 1 minute he's in favour with the fans, next minute he's not. The same applies with what we're seeing with Martinez now. He's now fallen from grace. He was up there, and now people are sort of frowning about his play and don't think he's good enough. All of a sudden.
2 weeks ago, you said that, like, after Martinez's performances, that he should be treated the same way that Maguire was, and more questions should be asked about him. And now you're like running around sort of defending him.
I'm not defending. I'm just saying the general consensus is that he was up there in people's fan base's opinion. The Butcher, they loved him. He had a serious injury, and he's never been the same since he's come back. He's made a lot of errors and doesn't look quite comfortable in the Premiership all of a sudden. And that's making Jamie Carragher look like a prophet, isn't it, now? Because we all doubted him when he said that. And it turns out that he is struggling at the moment. But, maybe he needs...
So he's got to perform under the new manager. That's the point. Yeah. Like, all of them do. Like, I mean, I'd be really intrigued to see if Bruno retains the captaincy.
Okay, Andrew, Matty, make sure you tune in on Thursday because Darius Bartime is doing a review of Sporting Lisbon, and we're going to go through all the tactics and everything. So AMORIM uses traditional number 10, thanks Mr. B, on the left wing at Sporting Lisbon, and that would be Pedro. Someone we're interested in the past. Pedro Gonçalves.
Yeah, just say Pedro. Don't just say Pedro.
Yeah. Goncalves. They're 2-0 up at the moment, by the way, as well.
3-0 up.
Oh, James says 2-1.
Nobody knows.
Oh, here we go. 3-0 up. Our manager saying bye on a high note as well. This is Champions League football, isn't it?
No.
Oh, right.
It's just normal. I think it's just a normal league fixture, I think, isn't it?
Okay.
I think they're sixth, though, in the Champions League. Like,
not bad.
Yeah, they put in a very awful performance that I've seen from them, but I've got another 2 games to watch.
You know, I was watching an interview with Arsene Wenger the other day, and they were saying, you know, when he came into England, it's always the same old story. You've heard it 1,000 times about him coming to England and the changes he made. But what he did have was great knowledge of young players and French football. And I think the same can apply to this manager coming in, AMORIM. I think the same applies to him. He might have great knowledge of a 14-year-old out there or who's going to be the next big thing and be able to get, own the market in Portugal. There's so many great talents come out of Portugal. So
would that not scare you a little with what's happened with the Dutchification of our squad?
Not necessarily, because you saw what happened with Wolves. The Wolves have they had a deal going in Portugal. They bring a lot of Portuguese players in. And we've seen success of a lot of Portuguese players, more so than Dutch players in this league. Yeah. I think because they've got, I don't know why. That'd be interesting to see why Portuguese players seem to be more successful than Dutch players. But if you look at, like, you gave a stat the other day, it's really interesting, guys in the comments as well, and Mr. B. But halftime in our WhatsApp group or our Telegram group gave a stat saying that I think it's Spanish people, how many percentage of people getting UEFA badges. And coaching and playing football. And last night we saw, because Portugal and Spain are basically one country. It's just it's basically one country, aren't they? So last night in the Ballon d'Or Awards, both female and the males were dominated by Spanish or Portuguese-based players. And it looks like world football's being dominated by Spanish and Portuguese type players and coaches as well. If you look at the stats that you had the other day, Bath Time, showing how many of these Spanish guys are taking UEFA coaching badges and that sort of thing, and applies to Portuguese as well. So I think they're a step ahead in world football at the moment, Portuguese and Spanish players and coaches, as proven with the data there.
Yeah, but for me, like when you look at what's going on in Europe at the moment, you look at the Champions League, whatever thing it is, all the English clubs are basically at the top of it. And I think that, like, we overrate. I know people say like we overrate players in the Premier League. I think we overrate players in foreign leagues far, far more, because they're not exposed to the same amount of physicality, the elite level managers that have like turned up in the Premier League and so on. And what I would really like from AMORIM is not to sort of like bring in players from Portugal the way that Eric did with Dutch players. I'd like to see, I mean, like this Gyökeres guy, I've watched him today. He is, I'd say he's a cross between Evan Ferguson and Ollie Watkins in how he plays. I would love to see us link to one of those two players in the summer. Sort of like know the league, English, understand the culture, understand the demands and so on. And I'd really hope that AMORIM has kind of looked at what has gone wrong for the managers that have come into Manchester United and is saying, do you know what, I'm not making those mistakes.
Yeah, good shout.
I hear you. Well, look, let's hope they haven't got it wrong. The one thing we will have from now till the end of the season is a little bit more excitement. I definitely know we are going to be looking to our games a lot more. We've got a game tomorrow. We've got Leicester that we I don't know. It seems weird that we've got a game tomorrow. There's so much other things going on, but we've still got to preview the Leicester game tomorrow. Does anybody even care whether we win or lose?
Yes, it's important.
Thank you very much. No need to shout. I just wanted to make sure that we were all on the right page. That's all. So
apparently he's playing the kids. That's what I read today.
Ruud's going to play the kids.
Yeah,
okay.
Like so we might see Harry Amas, for example, like get some minutes and things. We might see all these young guns that have been tearing it up.
Yeah, but why would they do that if that's a trophy that we can win? Just out of curiosity. Wouldn't he be better off going more?
Because the players have just got a manager sacked. Like, do they have any right to start the next game?
So you would start the kids over them, knowing you just said it's a game that we want to win. It's not a game that we want to give away.
Well, I think that like the players that have played well in we don't have a reserve league anymore, but the under-23s, the under-18s, and things like that. I think that if they've played well and they've done well and they've trained professionally and all these things, why not give them the chance? Because the other players haven't performed because they've just got their boss sacked. So I don't see any problem with putting 2 or 3 players in, benching a couple of others, and giving us a sort of like and get a bit of excitement going. And the other thing is RUUD's like on his way out and things. I'm not saying he doesn't care, but maybe he sees stuff in these youngsters that Eric Ten Hag didn't. We know like Jason Wilcox was in love with Harry Amas and all these players.
It sounds like they didn't get on. It sounds
he didn't respect him, did he?
Yeah, it sounds like there was a lot of headbutting between Ten Hag and Wilcox.
This is the thing. I think this is a new age manager, fresh. I think if you're talking about the fan base for one are buzzing that Ten Hag's gone, just in general. And they're excited because they're saying with the decision, not just waiting too long, it's been happening overnight. One's gone and one's coming in the door, but it's the one that we never expected necessarily. And this is the hot property, this is the hottest property in Europe right now. What we saw, going back to what we were talking about earlier, what we saw with Jurgen Klopp, when he came to Liverpool, he'd done the right things. He understood how to turn the fans on. And I think, like Barthelme said earlier, referring to Mourinho, saying he's a special one, I expect him to really turn us on with his first interview and say something or do something that's going to be like, I like this guy, and get us all excited. He really needs to do it because we're on a low right now. So if he's got someone in his ear, some advisor or what do you call him, handler, if he's got a handler or someone behind him, they should really focus on making the first press conference really important. Not just and the training ground meeting with the players and the first press conference are so important. We think that's got nothing to do with football necessarily, but it does.
No, Eric's one still like it has come to an end. I thought that was a good. I thought that was a good soundbite. To be honest, obviously it's ridiculous.
It was his era.
Yeah, it's embarrassing now. But would you play Kit? Would you play the kids tomorrow? Like not a team of children, but would you get like Collier, Amas, Wheatley?
No, I think there's a number of things at stake here for RUUD van Nistelrooy. If he does leave and if he is getting out of there, he want to go out with a win. And imagine him walking off after getting us through to the next round of the Coca-Cola Cup or the League Cup, sorry. And people will be saying, RUUD, you know, it will give people an idea that RUUD's something or something about him. So I think he would be determined not to say, I'm going to do it for the club, I'm going to bring in young players. There's a lot at stake here. There's only 4 major trophies available each season. Let's not give it a one this stage of season with our position right now. It's really bad. I think the most important thing is to get the result. He's got to play his best team. So if he brings in 1 or 2 youngsters, maybe at half time, if we're winning the game, whatever. But I guarantee this, RUUD van Nistelrooy will want to win that game and hear the plaudits of the fans, you know, and actually put a little pressure on the incoming manager to say, look, RUUD has shown he can do it. Can you?
Do you think though that he might be getting some instructions? Because if it's true that they want AMORIM for the Chelsea game, which I think that's a mistake, that RUUD should take the next 2 games. That, you know, we should all get introduced to AMORIM at Chelsea. AMORIM is definitely gonna like have some input into who he wants fresh for Chelsea, surely.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. So do you think that will play into RUUD's selection?
It could do, but I think the most important thing for the club right now, we can't afford to lose a home game to Leicester in the League Cup. That's the bottom line. So that should be the priority. We, as Ten Hag kept saying, and as most managers say at Man United, we aim to win every game. And we can't afford at this stage. It's not a pre-season game. There's a lot at stake. You know, we can't afford to go out to Leicester. That would just be a nightmare right now. We need something.
So would you be? Yeah, but would you be upset if you saw Collier, who's played before, and Wheatley starting? You'd be upset.
Not upset, but I think that would be the wrong decision. My decision is this: half time. We've had a low, we've had poor performances, we've had our manager booted out, and everyone's put the boots in on him right now. We're getting a new manager in, and to do that, to start this new revival of the club, this next game is very important. And RUUD's in charge. He's going to want to win. He's going to have his say.
Yeah, of course.
He wants all creative control. So you might even see something a little tweaked different from him. So his pride as well will be saying, I need to win this game. The club will be saying, look, we need to stay in the cup because, you know, we can't allow for more bad press and all that kind of thing. And the new manager coming in will be able to come in and say, all right, we're through to the next round of the cup. There's some positives here and something to work with. It's in vital importance. We're talking about the day before, but we must beat Leicester tomorrow.
Wow. Okay. Well, with that, I'm going to get Solo's team up, right? Right. If I do that one there. That is Solo's team.
Is that a mass top right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a mass. Yeah.
He even looks small in that.
Solo's done well.
I disagree.
Why?
Guys in the chat as well, disagree or agree with Solo's 11. Talk to me, bath time.
I'd consider taking Onana out because I like the idea of having a cup goalkeeper that keeps the main goalkeeper on his toes. I've no issues with Onana's performance this season, but I think like Bayinda, did he play against Barnsley and that's it? Yeah. I think that like we should give Bayinda a go, like almost like sort of out of respect. I agree that Ahmad will play. Like RUUD was all over him when he came on the bench, but I want to see Wheatley in for Rasmus. I want to see Collier in for Casemiro. I wouldn't mind to see Johnny Evans. These are the sort of games that I think that Johnny Evans should play in, and he'd be desperate to against Leicester. And I wouldn't mind to see Delo get a rest and have Mazraoui in, to be honest. But I agree,
he came off early, didn't he?
Mazraoui, is he injured?
Yeah. Well, he got a knock and came off a couple minutes after the knock. So whether or not he's injured or not, no idea. To be fair, what about you, Yabba? What would you change in this?
I quite like it. We've got a young player in Amas, someone who's really exciting, and I think gives us balance with the left foot as well. I think this is a guy at the start of the season. I think he was playing a couple of preseason games, and the way he was talking, it was like he was on the cusp of actually getting into the team. And he hasn't been taken on loan or anything, so there is an opportunity for him. Maybe it's just taking a bit of time. We're only a couple of months into the season, so it would be really nice to see him get a game and maybe start forcing his way into the team, especially with a new manager as well. And it's opportunity, isn't it? Opportunity knocks for players. There's the back four, I think, has picked itself otherwise. The right back could either be Maz or Delo, depending on it. I would still think you play the goalkeeper. I'm not sure about the Turkish guy, whether he can be trusted. I think there's a lot to do with it, why he hasn't been playing.
He played all right the last game. He did all right.
Well,
I tell her like, oh yeah, do you know what I've realised? Yeah, I knew we had won the game, but yeah, I realised we won against. All right, fair enough.
I agree that Rashford. I mean, he's gone with like Ahmad and Garnacho, and these are guys that I think you can get something out of them against Leicester. They're both young guys, but they need to start doing the business. And I think Ahmad, if you give him a run of games, which he never seems to have, he's always the sucker who always gets dragged, you know. And I don't know whether he complains or not, but he maybe needs to start complaining and say, look, I'm good enough to be in this team. I want to, I don't want to be dragged off, and do something like, who's the guy who got dragged off the other day and started the Duran? Is it Duran from Aston Villa? Yeah. If you do something like that, the fans will be on side, because it's not petulance. It's more saying, I want to be here. I want to play. And I think Ahmad maybe needs to start doing that. Otherwise, he's going to end up like Donny van der Beek and being that fool guy who's always getting taken off. He can do something at this football club. He just needs. It's really crucial now to be a winner. There's an interview with Usain Bolt on a high performance channel. It's called High Performance, and they talk about high performance athletes and what it takes to be great. And it really inspired me listening to what I watched that late last night. And it just shows you only get small window. All these players here, you get small window in football, 5, 7, 8, 10 years at the top. You need to do something more to show that greatness. And I think Ahmad really needs to step up. The rest picks itself. I think there's not much wrong with that. Maybe Ericsson could start. He's been magnificent this season.
Where would he start him in? Bruno's position?
No, Bruno would have to play. I saw the difference with Bruno in the side the other day. In the final third, I think Bruno, he gets pelters, but he's a quality player.
You wouldn't be in for this kind of movement of trying Xerxes as a number 10 then?
I don't know. I don't think so. It depends. Look, it's all about systems and formations and things. It depends where you want to fit them in. I don't think Xerxes can play that deep. I think he needs to be on the end of things. We saw he was involved with a goal the other day. He got a flick on because he's big. He needs to start telling him to push his weight around up front on the last man, stick his batty into a guy, roll him, that sort of thing. These are things you have to do as a guy that size. You need to have that physical contact more. So I want to see him up against the last man doing the business there rather than being his playmaker. Because you talk about being a playmaker, but I don't think he's got the weight of pass. Only short, nice passes can roll people in, like short, low passes. But I don't see him spraying balls or that sort of thing as yet. I watched him the other day. Pulling off and peeling off and trying to play passes. I don't think he's at that level like Bruno or Ericsson. So I would play him still as the last man up top.
Okay. Well, it'll be interesting to see what RUUD does with his one and only game. I said I would have liked to have seen him to have given a couple of games, but look, if AMORIM has to come in early, then he comes in early, innit? Can we have some score predictions from? We've got 26 in the chat. Let's look. I know I'll be asking maybe too much to get 26 score predictions, but let's see how much score predictions we actually can get in for this game tomorrow. I'm actually going to start with you, Yabba, anyway.
Yeah, I think the crowd will be up for it. I think RUUD around this year is going to be begging for a win. Leicester being impressive this year, considering they've just come up again and they've taken a sort of they've lost a lot of their players, but they've come up. They've still got something about them. They've got Vardy as well, which can be a nightmare for any defence. But I think we've got enough based on what's been happening with the drama at the club at the moment. It's a must win. The fans are going to be up for it. A new era, a new dawn. They're going to be excited. I think at home, we're going to do something special. I'm going for like a 4-0 win for Man United. Very impressive.
Very impressive.
Yeah, that really would be impressive. But I mean,
well, you guys are laughing. Sorry, you guys are laughing. There's 2 people in the comments already who've gone 4-0 and 4-0. I'm talking about. I'm not just saying about how poor we've been. I'm talking about other factors.
I'm laughing at the fact that you said impressive after you gave your score prediction.
I wasn't talking about my speech. I was talking about the result.
Yeah, that's why it was funny. I agree. Yeah, but I think goals in this game. I think handbrake off. A fun factor, like lots of songs about RUUD and so on. Like, do you remember when we signed Ronaldo back and I think it was Wolves away? They just sang Viva Ronaldo all match. They had a cardboard cutout of him and things. I'm expecting a sort of fun carnival atmosphere. Leicester, I think, are essentially in a relegation dogfight. I think that this is probably a distraction, that they don't want the cup. That they would prefer just to have one game to plan for a week. So I think 3-1 is what I'm going to go for.
I'm going to go 3. I'm going to go 3-0.
Nice.
I'm going to go 3-0. It's going to be very. it's going to be a shutout. It's going to be a shutout tomorrow. I think Leicester are going to go with a slightly weakened team just because the Premier League is their priority. And us being at home with the whole Ten Hag gone vibe, RUUD in, AMORIM coming. Yeah, I think it'll be 3-0.
Okay. There's a lot of score predictions here. Just quickly go through them. James 1-1. Double A 2-0 United. Andrew Williams says doesn't care. I don't honestly care. I'll go with United. 2-1 again from Matthew Bassett. 3-1 says Vincent. 2-0 that's for Man United. 2-0 to Leicester.
2-1.
Sorry, 2-1. Is he saying we're going to lose?
Yeah. Shall I get my tomatoes out?
Yes, please. Let's go back. So Jeff's saying here it's 2-1 to Leicester. What do we think of that, guys? Does anyone else want one of these?
Yeah, get tomato. Yeah.
Be careful. 2-2. Does that deserve one?
No,
that's all right. We scored
4-0. No doubt about it. That's great. 4-0 says Agile Beast as well. Vincent saying here 5. Really want to say 5-0 United. 3-1 says Retro as well. What we got? James saying here
3-1 Sporting.
Yeah. 2-2 lose on penalties. Does that deserve?
No.
Okay. No. There's only who's the one who got the boo?
Jeff went for a loss to Leicester in normal time.
Jeff, come on.
Disgusted. Right. Are we done for the night, lads? Are we?
We need our plans for tomorrow.
We will be doing a watch along and we will be doing a reaction show tomorrow. I'm going to sit down there. I'm going to be cheering on RUUD with a little tipple. I won't be singing. I don't do that, but I am expecting. I am expecting it to be a good game, and we will have the reaction.
Why don't you do singing?
The game finish. I don't sing. That's not my thing. that's definitely not my thing.
You're more of a dancer.
Yeah, back in the day, I was. If I do any of that now, I'm finished, bro.
No, just do it after every goal. Just do a standard Mr. B dance move.
I hope it's still nil. You lot would be better off hoping it's still nil. No, those days are done. Those days are done, bath time. I wish I could. In my mind, I've still got it. It's just translating it from here to the, to the footwork. It's not.
That's the issue that Anthony had.
So, I think I can say overall, all 3 of us, we seem to be okay. We're in good form. optimistic?
Yeah, we are. You have to be. He's gone.
Yeah.
You know.
I see it as a bit of a free hit tomorrow. Like, I'm as I said earlier, the things that I want are bundles of goals, reconnection with the team, and so on. I don't expect to win an FA Cup or like the League Cup this year. Like, I would prefer us to be concentrating on our league performances. So tomorrow, I want a kind of carnival party from the team. I'd like to see young players. I'd like to see sort of skill and speed, and maybe RUUD just kind of take us back a little bit to, you know, football that isn't so based on systems and is a bit more fun and things.
I just want to say I mentioned Jamie Vardy as a player that I admire at Leicester. Who do you admire at Leicester part-time and why?
Yeah, okay. It's the point that we're at.
Yeah, just say it. Come on. Tell
Right.
everyone.
So for people who don't know, I've been a very long-term fan of Harold Winks, who plays for Leicester. I think he's a wonderful little player, that he would do more than a job in our squad. And I hope he plays tomorrow. I hope he plays really well, but they lose comfortably. And maybe we can all agree with me that Harry Winks isn't like a joke player, as everyone tells me. But yes, I like Harry Winks. Sorry?
I don't think he plays tomorrow.
Yeah, I think they rest him.
Yeah, I think they rest him, which is a shame. Which means that we should be getting the 3 or the 4 that we all hope to get, and it won't have anything to do with the fact that Leicester put out a weakened team.
Thanks, Big G. Well done.
In it.
Yeah.
Good grief.
He's absolutely got me there. How am I ever going to recover?
Right. Is it lack a notch time?
It is lack a notch time.
In honor of Dora, let's do it. Before we do, I just want to say big up to Mr. Supplements. He's saying, this is full of life, holy macaroni. That's something from Adam West Batman, isn't it?
And Mr. Supplements, isn't that somebody new?
Yeah. Well, welcome to the show.
Yeah. Welcome to the madness. I hope you're saying that. Are we full of holy macaroni? Is that a Batman? Does that mean that we're full of beans? You know, are you happy to see us? Will you be back tomorrow for the watch along?
Will you be bringing your
and the
supplements
reaction?
to our team?
Yeah. You know, let us know. Let us know.
All
right.
Get in touch with Luke Shaw. Like, maybe get him off the custard. Get him on some other stuff.
All right, it's a lack a nosh from me. We're waiting for
It's a lack a notch. Impressive from me.
Big up, Mr. Supplements. He's only playing, just scanning through. Welcome. Give us a like and subscribe. We're a Man United channel, and a lot going on with the club at the moment. So, yeah, be some fun times over the next few days and weeks. Mr. B?
Lack a notch.